फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स,
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट।
Very good, Ganav. We're very excited to be in Ahmedabad. We had the good fortune of playing one game, a very special game there last year. But it is our home stadium. We're very much looking forward to playing in front of our home crowd for a sort of a full campaign of 7 home games. Very excited, as you can imagine. I'm sure that's the case with all of the teams. This is always an exciting time. The beginning of a campaign when teams are starting to get together, you're doing two things. One, you are sort of meeting old friends and old colleagues and getting to work again. So that's exciting. And in addition to that, you're also, welcoming some new members to the squad, which is also exciting for the same fact that, it adds a new dynamic. There's a new personality that we've all got to get to know. So that's one side of it all. But then, there's a good amount of work to be done as far as practice is concerned for the players, as far as the bigger team is concerned in getting into the rhythm of the season, which is very important. So it's a very exciting time. There's a lot of energy around, and we're all really pleased to be in Ahmedabad. We'll just have to wait and see, Niharika. I think it's going to be an interesting change to the sort of dynamic. I think it might bring some tactical decisions to be made. But essentially, I think the way we're looking at it at the moment, especially given the fact that you can name your sort of 11 or the bigger squad of 15 after the toss, I think that has a slightly different bearing on it as well. But initially, we're starting to have sort of discussions about it. I think it will bring an interesting dynamic, I repeat, to the IPL this year. So it'll be, we have had discussions about it. It'll be interesting to see how different teams adopt the rule. I'll take your first question first. You did say one question and you've asked two, in fact. So I'll take the first one. Your point about what was different. I don't think we were different. I think all teams go about working as hard as they possibly can and trying to put in place strategies that and taking decisions for the betterment of their team. It just so happened that the decisions we took and the things that we did were successful last year. That's not to suggest that there's a guarantee that will be the case this year. Everybody with their best endeavors tries to be the best team they can possibly be. I'm confident that every team sets out to try and win every match. And then as a result, place themselves in that sort of qualification arena and then actually win the competition. Every team sets out to do exactly that. We were just the same. It just so happened that the decisions we took happened to sort of allow us to navigate our way all the way to the championship. We're very minded that we're going to have to do a lot of hard work this year to get into the positions that we'd like to be in. But we're also aware that the rest of the teams are doing exactly that as well. We're trying to sort of make sure we are balanced and realistic as far as what lies ahead. And Shubman is a leader in his own right for the simple fact that he takes on a lot of responsibility. In my mind, it isn't important or it isn't vital or critical that you place a sort of asterisk or something like that next to a player's name to start thinking about whether they're adopting a leadership role. Shubman adopted a leadership role last year by his conduct, by the way he goes about, his sort of professional attitude towards the game. And I think I understand where your question is sort of aligned. Do I think that Shubman will be a leader in the future? Yes, absolutely. But no decision has been made about that as yet. He certainly has leadership qualities. He's a very mature and considered young man who has an abundant amount of talent. But he's also got a very smart cricket brain, and we continue to have those sort of conversations with Shubman and invite his opinion on every sort of decision we take. One, you made the point that Hardik was new to a leadership role last year. And consistent to what I said about Shubman, I don't think Hardik was new to a leadership role. He captained a campaign and he captained an IPL team for the season for the first time. I maintained last year that we viewed Hardik as a leader for the simple fact that if you think before last year, he'd won 4 trophies with Mumbai and played leadership roles. It was very apparent in the way he conducted himself. Leadership isn't about, like I said, and at the risk of repeating myself, having an asterisk next to your name to suggest you are the leader. It is about your conduct. It is about how you interact with people, whether you can engage your team. And Hardik has certainly, from my mind, done that for a good number of years. And he did that in a lot of the winning sides that he was part of with Mumbai. So as far as that's concerned, to stress the point, I thought Hardik took to that leadership role just simply almost seamlessly, if you think about it. Now, as far as how he will come back to us, we're very much looking forward to Hardik joining us. He is our captain. He led us tremendously well last year, and I think he will be better for the experiences that he's had in leading India. That's a given. But I can't tell you what, whether there is going to be any sort of change in his leadership until he arrives and takes that role here. I would be confident that Hardik will be much the same as he was last year with us. He is very much somebody that keeps the whole team involved, and we're looking forward to him joining us soon. Sandeep, firstly, I'm entirely in agreement with you. I think Ridhiman is a fabulous cricketer. Let's start at that point. And I'm inclined to agree with you as far as the sort of speciality he has behind the stumps. He's a wonderful wicketkeeper. And he, to add to the points you've made as well, is you think about the experience Ridhiman has had. He's a real seasoned campaigner, regardless of the format. He played a brilliant role for us, and we've been talking about sort of leadership roles. Ridhiman does exactly that. He's one of the leaders in our group. You can see again by his conduct that he has an influence over people. There are a lot of people that will go and seek out his counsel about batting. The wicketkeepers will, of course, go and seek out his counsel around wicketkeeping, how they can better themselves. So, first and foremost, we're very happy that Ridhiman has joined us again. He's just arrived not too long ago, and he has started the camp as you would expect him to. He works extremely hard. So we're just hoping for Ridhiman to be in the best possible shape he can be, and hopefully he's comfortable so that he can go and give his best as and when required. He played a great role for us as an opener last year. So all of those things considered, he's a real asset to us. It is, of course, disappointing that David isn't with us, but to some extent, I understand South Africa's position. Put simply, it's this way: would we rather David was here? Yes. Would we rather that he was available throughout the season? Yes. But as things stand, he's not, because of sort of his commitments towards his national team, and I think we've got to respect that. And I think that's the way I've sort of squared it in my mind, is that there are sometimes situations that are out of our control, and this is simply one of those. So we must just be minded of giving ourselves the best opportunity in that first game, and the way we do that is to try and prepare the guys that are here to perform in that first game, and that is it essentially. As far as David is concerned, I'm sure he's disappointed that he's not going to be here for the first game. But that's just the way things are. Sometimes you have to deal with these sort of situations as far as availability is concerned. It's one game. We look forward to welcoming David when his commitments with South Africa finish. Touch wood. So far, no, there aren't any injury concerns. The squad is arriving. So we've got a good number of the squad here already. But as you would appreciate, we're waiting for the guys that have been part of the India-Australia series. So the 3 guys that have been involved in that, they will arrive soon. And then we're also still waiting for a good number of the overseas guys to arrive because of their respective commitments with their national teams. So we're looking forward to welcoming all of them and being together as a squad, as a sort of whole group. And that, of course, as I alluded to in the previous question, is it seems as though David will be the last one to join us. Yeah, well, we're sort of happy with the way things have gone so far, and we're looking forward to the sort of start of our campaign, which we're fortunate enough to play our first game at our home stadium against Chennai, which will, I'm sure, be a brilliant event. So we're very much looking forward to the season. I had very difficult. I appreciate entirely the challenge that lies ahead of us, but essentially it's no different to the challenge that the other 9 teams have. The IPL is the premier franchise tournament in the world. The world's best cricketers play in this tournament. It's a very demanding and challenging tournament, and it should be, given the sort of status it has in world cricket. And we're just looking forward to sort of giving our best to give ourselves some sort of an opportunity to give a good account of ourselves throughout the season. But in simple answer to your question, yeah, we are entirely aware of the challenge that lies ahead. Rather than talk about the sort of specifics of any particular injury concern, I'd just like to say that Hardik is somebody that is very professional in his approach. He is minded of making sure he looks after his body, because again, as an all-rounder at the sort of prime of his game, and with the requirements that his calendar has, he has to be very professional. We have a very good team here that is in constant contact with the team as far as the BCCI is concerned. So both sports science and medicine teams are in constant contact to ensure that absolutely the best provision is made for Hardik, and to ensure that he is in the best possible shape to perform whenever he walks out, whether it be for Gujarat or for India, GT and the BCCI. And I think that should be the sort of common case in everybody's mind. If we keep the cricketer's interest front and center of our mind, it is actually for the betterment of any cricket team that he's involved with, whether it be India or Gujarat Titans. So no, as I pointed out, I don't need to stress the fact that the IPL is the premier competition too often. I think you're all aware of exactly that. I think you've made the point about the team we are facing first in Chennai. They're a wonderful team with a fabulous legacy. If you think about what they've achieved, we obviously had a very good tournament last year, but in terms of preparation and everything like that, all teams are in exactly the same place. We're all setting out to prepare ourselves, to give ourselves an opportunity of giving a good account of ourselves in the season. Chennai will be no different. We're no different. There is an equal amount of pressure on Chennai as there is on us in that first game. It is simply that it is the first game of our 2023 campaign. We arrive at that first game as champions last year, but that is very much in the past. Chennai arrive at that first game with a number of trophies, but that is very much in the past. It is the game that is important that will begin our campaign. Yes, why wouldn't you think of Mohammed Shami as the leader of any attack? He's been a wonderful cricketer, a wonderful bowler for whichever team that he's represented, whether it be us or India or any other franchise team that he's been a part of. He was quite outstanding for us last year. So I suppose I could have answered the question in just a simple yes, and then following on from that, you just have to wait and see as far as what the sort of situation is. I think we have to be respectful of the fact that fast bowling is a very demanding job. He's coming off a lot of cricket. We've just got to make sure we do the best for Mohammed Shami, to make sure that he then can in turn do the best he possibly can for Gujarat Titans. It's an ongoing sort of monitoring of each and every player, and of course Mohammed Shami will be one of those players that we'll monitor carefully. We'll make sure that every preparation, every resources used to ensure he's in the best possible place for every game.